YouTube. Salute. Welcome to Nocturnal Thoughts. I'm your host, Nocturnal. If you're new to the channel, I welcome you to the channel. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. To all my old subscribers, I appreciate you. I salute you. Just getting caught up on some Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury part 2 in February 22nd of the year 2020. And they had another little release of some, behind the scenes, some training camps. And to me, that's what I really get excited about when it comes to boxing. For one, you get to see, mentally, what these guys have to do when they're in that Spartan warrior mentality. For two, I like to see them physically train in what they eat. The preparations in camp, to me, is almost, if not just as exciting to me as the actual fight itself. That's what gets me motivated in my life, in my journey, is to see those guys at the pinnacle, at the highest peak of heavyweight bout, showing them how they take on just one step at a time, counting down the days, getting everything in order, getting into fight mode. So Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, the first one they did, to me, I was a little bit disappointed because they mainly focused on Deontay Wilder, being over there, looking at the Coliseums and meeting Pope Francisco and all of that. And it showed a lot of Tyson Fury training. And from that perspective, it almost looked like Deontay Wilder wasn't in training mode and Tyson Fury, was already in battle mode. He was, relocated over to, Vegas, away from his wife and kids to completely not be distracted. And it looked like you had Deontay Wilder more enjoying his life outside of boxing. But this second one that I just watched today showed a little bit more, Deontay Wilder getting his mind prepared. And what I did like about it is, for one, since it's such a quick turnaround from Luis King Kong Ortiz, it's like he says, he's putting shape on top of shape on top of shape, but he's pretty much already physically and mentally dialed in. So with this quick turnaround, he's already has all of his tools sharpened, and he's in the best shape of his life. And now he's going to go in. He doesn't have that time where he let himself maybe get more dull, or get out of shape just a little bit. He's already in the close proximity to be ready to go right back into battle. Now, we all know that back in the day, great fighters would fight a lot more often in a year's time than what fighters do now. Like, most fighters now fight twice a year, maybe 3 times a year if they're really on their grind. But usually you get 2 fights. Some fighters, you only see them fight once a year. And, back in the day, you had fighters fighting, 4 times a year, if not more. So you get mixed opinions. Like, for example, I was watching Fanon International Boxing, and he pointed out the fact with Jojo Diaz versus Tevin Farmer, that Tevin Farmer was fighting maybe too oftenly, like his 5th fight within a year's time, that he wasn't giving himself enough time to recuperate, and maybe he had heavy legs, that his legs betrayed him. I watched that fight, some of the highlights of that fight, and it was evident that he wasn't himself, as far as he wasn't as physically dominant as we've seen him in the past. where he was able to slip a lot of more shots and be swifter on his toes. Now, I don't want to take away any credit from JoJo, and to be honest with you, I haven't watched that fight in its totality, but it seems to me, based off of just the feedback I was hearing from the commentators, and you put two and two together with what Fanon International was saying. So, to each is his own. Some fighters might, be able to fight more frequently and it won't hurt them as far as putting all those miles on their legs in training camp after training camp after training camp. And then on the other hand, you get some fighters that don't fight enough to where they spend too much time out of the ring, like a Keith Thurman, and they have so much rust built up on their legs and their knees and their mechanics, and they're just not accurate. Their punching is not accurate. Their turnover, snapping, their shot is gone. They just lose. It takes them, 2, 3, 4 more fights to even get back to what they used to be. So with a guy like Deontay Wilder, who is already physically gifted, who's not ballooning up 140 pounds like Tyson Fury, who doesn't have to focus on losing 100 pounds just to be able to get in shape, to be prepared to get in shape for a fight. I don't think that this quick turnaround is going to be too much for Deontay Wilder. I think it's just spot on. Honestly, I think it's going to be perfect, being that he's physically dominant, being that he didn't take a lot of damage in his Luis King Kong Ortiz fight, and based off the fact that his power has always transitioned from the first to the 12th round. I think he's going to come into this fight at peak performance. On the other hand, I think Tyson Fury is going to come into this fight maybe at about 85 to 90% peak. I think Deontay Wilder is going to be on 110. You know what I'm saying? The difference is because Tyson Fury was close to peaking in his first fight with Deontay Wilder. He had been on a long layoff. He got back in shape, had a couple of tune-up fights. The timing was perfect. The timing was right for him to fight Tyson Fury the timing for Tyson Fury was just right to fight Deontay Wilder at that time. It's like he said, Tyson Fury coming back to fight Deontay Wilder, his motivation was different. You know what I'm saying? He said he was trying to train to get back in shape. He was heavy. He couldn't even run. He had to walk. And he's seen Deontay Wilder say, look how out of shape he's gotten. He's over. He's done. And that gave him motivation to say, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you Deontay Wilder, who's the real champion. Came back, fought him, had a draw, dominated some rounds, got knocked out some rounds. Boom, we have a rematch. Does he still have that same motivation? Or did he fulfill his motivation? And now this rematch is more of, I'm just going to put it all on the line. I'm not going to be defensive as much as I'm going to come in here and I'm going to try to go mano a mano and knock out Deontay Wilder. I know he has power, but I'm going to come with power too. He's been eating more. They say he usually eats about 3 times a day. Now he's eating 6 times a day. I just watched him cook up a nice piece of burger with the egg on top. Man, made me hungry just watching it. And then you had Deontay Wilder. I believe he had his auntie cooking him this big soul food meal. Talking about food for my soul. Come and get your soul food. And I'm like, man, see, eating like that, where Deontay Wilder is like, the best thing about being a heavyweight is you don't have to make weight. You just have to stay in shape. He's eating like that, being comfortable, not worrying about dropping weight. I think he's going to come in very explosive. I think he's going to come in big, strong, sharp, and I think you're going to see the best Deontay Wilder we've ever seen, period. On the other hand, with Tyson Fury, we're going to see a great Tyson Fury. But I believe that a great Tyson Fury still gets knocked out by Deontay Wilder. He says that Tyson Fury says that this fight is going to be a lot shorter than the other fight. So he's not even planning on this fight going to 12 rounds. He plans on coming in and try to knock out Deontay Wilder within, 6 rounds. And I feel like a lot of things that Tyson Fury says is in flip reverse of what he really thinks Deontay Wilder is going to do. Like when he says he thinks Deontay Wilder is going to get knocked out in 2 rounds, I think what he's really saying is he thinks that he's going to get knocked out in 2 rounds. He said something else that was just completely, to me, contradicting to what happened to Deontay Wilder in the first fight. But when I'm looking at it, it was like, this happened exactly to you. So maybe you just don't have the greatest memory off of what happened. But to me, you sound like what you are projecting to happen to Deontay Wilder is more of a self-projecting of what's going to happen to yourself. But, the countdown is on, and we'll know soon enough. And like I said, I'm amped up. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait for it to go down. And it's just great to watch behind the scenes, watch them training, watch just the way the mind of the warrior works. I see now that they're, putting commercials that's going to be on the Super Bowl, that's going to be promoting this fight. So anybody that's going to try to say that this is not going to be a big event, that's not going to do big numbers, you have to be crazy. I think this fight will definitely be just as popular as Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier, part 1, part 2, or part 3. Definitely going to be more popular than part 3, because there's a lot of people out here that don't even know that Muhammad Ali fought Joe Frazier the 3rd time. They all know about the first, most know about the second, but they have no idea about the 3rd. So I believe this fight is going to definitely be just as big as Joe Frazier versus Muhammad Ali. So countdown begins. That's all I got for you today. I appreciate y'all time. If you're new to the channel, take 2 seconds, hit the subscribe button, man. I appreciate it. To all my old subscribers, man, I appreciate y'all. I salute y'all. And enjoy the Super Bowl. It's Nocturnal Thoughts. I'm out. Peace.